The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3, and let's talk to the General Manager of Link now. It is Dave Morgan. G'day, Dave.
G'day, Damian. How you going?
I'm very well at this time. How are you holding up?
Not too bad, actually. The last 6 weeks have been surprisingly buoyant for us. We've had a good run, so I'm pretty pleased.
Excellent. It is very uncertain times at the moment, and I thought it was important to have you on this show and talk a bit about what you guys do. But as it always starts on the show, we get to know the people we're talking to. So, in your own words, can you tell us what Link is?
So Link Business Broking is a specialist business brokerage. So we're licensed real estate agents, but we specialize in the sale of businesses only. We do property transactions if property is one of the assets of the business, or if the business owner owns the property and wants to sell the property as well. So, but predominantly we are selling. We sell businesses, so we're selling profit and loss and assets as opposed to shares. We can do share transactions, but that's the exception rather than the norm. So we're helping people that are or who have been in business for many years and are now ready to retire or move on or change their investments. And we help them package up their business, take it to market, and find buyers for them. Outstanding.
How long have you guys been around?
Since 1996. So we're the largest business brokerage in the country. We've got offices in Northland, Auckland and Ellerslie, North Shore, Taronga, Hamilton, Napier, Wellington, and Christchurch. And then we've also got offices in Australia and the United States.
Wow. So you've seen it definitely, business grow, change, adapt over 25 plus years in New Zealand.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I mean, I've been involved with Link. I've been business broking in Wellington since 2007, and I've been with Link since 2009. And during that time, obviously we went through the GFC, and that was a challenging period, but there were still plenty of business sales and still plenty of activity. And then as we came out of the GFC, things got more buoyant and more activity, and we're going quite well up until 6 weeks ago. And not that things have changed dramatically from our perspective, but certainly the economy. We will come out of this with a different economy. And a different future compared to the one that we were enjoying as we went into this.
Yeah, speaking, we've had the show going for 4 weeks now, and we've spoken to a lot of businesses that were almost due a holiday building up to COVID, and then things all changed. What is going to be different now? Because we're coming out of a health scare, a health crisis, whereas before, back in 2008, it was financial. How is it going to be harder to rebuild against a financial, or is it going to be harder for people out there versus this health crisis, where we are going to have those limitations of where we can and can't go and how close we can be with each other?
Yeah, it's a good question, Damian. In the GFC, you're absolutely right. It was a financial crisis, and it was a liquidity crisis. It was massive amount of debt, and household debt was huge compared to where it is now. Banking debt or banking equity was lower than it is now, because the Reserve Bank has created some stricter rules for banking capitalization, and so the banks are in a better position at the moment. But banks are always going to be analyzing risk when they lend money, and capital is required to keep things buoyant and to keep businesses trading. But the banks are obviously going to look at businesses quite carefully to ensure that they assess the risk of continuity for that business, to ensure that the money that they lend the business is secure. So I think the challenges that we're up against now are obviously the fact that that businesses have lost a 6-week period of trading. Their cash reserves have been depleted, probably not completely in a lot of cases because the government was generous enough to give us the wage subsidy, which has been helpful for many businesses. But when we come out of this, we're still not going to be trading at maximum levels for a variety of reasons. One, there's still restrictions on how we can move about and how we can enter bars, restaurants, cafes, shopping malls, and all sorts of other businesses. I mean, there's still restrictions on gatherings, and there are there are limitations in terms of the size of the market. We now are restricted to a domestic market, and we no longer have tourists coming into the country or overseas visitors who are reasonable spenders and certainly big contributors to our economy. So everything's got to kind of go from fifth gear and overdrive that we were running in February. Everything's kind of dropping down to third gear now, and depending on what happens after the wage subsidy, we might even drop down into second gear. So things are certainly going to slow down. That's how I see it personally. I mean, what actually requires is for us all to yet to be seen. But that's what it sort of feels like to me. It feels like things are going to certainly slow down, and we'll just establish a new norm. We'll establish a new base, and then from there we will continue to grow again as things open up and a vaccine is found, and life gets back to what it was at the start of the year.
We've all taken a moment over the last 6-7 weeks to adjust and look at where we are. Do we need to be in the position that we are? And then there's the other side where they don't know what's next. And possibly you could come into play with either passing on the business or setting up people that possibly have those transferable skills that are thinking that they want to be in an industry that they've always wanted to be in.
We haven't had, an abundance of telephone calls from business owners saying, "Help! I need to sell my business because, I'm about to go broke or whatever." We haven't had those calls.
Cool.
And thankfully we haven't had those calls. I think that's a great thing.
Definitely.
Look, there's no doubt in my mind that there will be a lot of businesses that won't survive this, but from what we can see at the moment, those businesses, as much as they're hurting, they're not prepared to give up. And so they will try their best to survive because clearly they've got capital and time and commitment invested into those businesses, and they don't want to walk away from it. Some people will have to, and that's the unfortunate reality. But I think most business owners at the moment are planning to work hard and trade through this and not surrender to it. And I think that's a great thing. It says a lot about people's perseverance. And commitment. But I think there will be opportunities where people who have not been well capitalized have to get out of their business. I think that will present some opportunities for buyers who have got money and are able to take over a business. It's got to be a very well-researched decision to make sure that they are assessing the risk properly and that the business does have good longevity if it's run properly and well capitalized. So those opportunities will exist. One of the things that we're focusing on, I mean, we're quite aware that there will be a lot of unemployment as a result of this. And one of our marketing messages over the next few months will be, look at the opportunity to buy a job. Because there are people with lots of skills, and there will be small businesses that need to change hands, and some of those will be at the price point where people that are unemployed and who may have some money can take those over and generate some cash flow for themselves so that they can continue to survive through however long it takes for things to come back to normal.
Excellent. So they should, if they've ever wondered, and if they've got any questions, to get in touch with you.
Absolutely. No, we'd love to hear from people, either business owners who, some who may want to sell, and some who may just want to get some advice and just get the benefit of some of our knowledge and experience. I think, if businesses are interested in getting an appraisal on their business to find out what it's worth as of the 31st of March 2020. So we'll be wanting to see their profit and loss statement or their books for the last 12 months. And then we've developed over the last 6 weeks, we've developed a questionnaire in terms of the COVID impact and recovery. To understand how the business has been impacted and what the business owners have got in place to recover, that information will be really valuable. And then together, between us doing an appraisal and having that information, we can help business owners with a market appraisal of what we think their business might be worth. None of us know right now, because there's a lot of water still to pass under the bridge in terms of how valuations are going to change. But if people can get back up and trading quickly, and numbers continue to be sustainable, then value might not be impacted at all. But either way, it's good to know where a person's business sits in the marketplace in terms of its asset value, which would be great.
Definitely. Education, knowing is our key during this time of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, where can people get in touch? How can they get a hold of you?
They can contact us through our website, which is www.linkbusiness.co.nz. That's LINK business.co.nz. Or they can phone us on our office number in Wellington, which is Wellington 472-7602. People and assist wherever we can.
Excellent. Well, I very much appreciate your time today, Dave Morgan, the General Manager of Link. Go well, mate, and I'd love to catch up in a few weeks and see how everything is panning out there.
Fantastic. Thanks, Damian. Thanks for the opportunity to chat to your listeners.